Hello, I am Sudhir Mittal. I am Chief Architect at Airtel India. Today I'm talking about event-driven architecture in the context of a large telco like Airtel as part of this EDA Summit. So when I talk about Airtel as a large telco, I want to mention about the size and geographies in which we operate. We operate not only in India, but a number of other countries, as shown in this map in the center, where the red color shows the countries where we do operate. So, as written on the left side of the slide, we operate in 14 countries in Africa and two in South Asia, apart from India. So in South Asia, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are the countries where we operate. Internationally, we have about 180 million plus customers. And in Africa itself, we have 1.8 million plus retail touch points. Um, and and the volume of Airtel Money transactions, Airtel Money, I'm going to talk about later again, is about 65 billion plus dollars. And in India, you can look at the size where we have about 323 million mobile customers and 22 million plus homes which are covered with Airtel, at least one service, and at least two services rather. And at on our digital assets, which again I'll be talking about later on, we have apps and our digital platforms where we have monthly average users of the order of 184 million, and we have 3,500 plus enterprises as our customers and 1 million plus offices. So that's the scale we are operating as telco. And to give more idea about um, about other things which indicate the size of Airtel, is that we have around 260.4K mobile towers, and that covers India, South Africa, and Africa. And also we have in India the spectrum investments of 1.2 lakh crore bucks, which is 1.2 trillion um, sort of investments in spectrum alone. And with domestic fiber, we have around 400K plus route kilometers in India. And the same internationally, we have around 365K plus route kilometers. We are also in the submarine business, cable business, where we have really 7 submarine cables covering huge distances across continents, across countries. We have also 11 data centers and 120 edge data centers. That's the volume we are talking about. So a huge investment has been done. Accordingly, a huge network has been established, and the huge scale operations are there. Now, on the portfolio side, I would like to just highlight that there are some huge and diversified portfolios in the mobility side, both postpaid and prepaid. And give you some statistics. In India, at least, for postpaid mobility, we have a revenue market share of 35.4%, which is number one in India. For the prepaid mobility, out of our 323 million mobility customers, 96% of them are prepaid. So that shows there's a huge potential of the postpaid mobility customers, and that's where we are working on. On the broadband side, we have 27 million plus homes which are covered with our broadband, either fiber or DSL. On the DTH entertainment, which is direct to home or satellite TV entertainment, we are the largest content aggregation with single sign-on, with partnered with so many content providers on one box. Um, on the convergence side, we have very exciting offerings of bundles in mobility, broadband, DTH, and Airtel Bank as a single bundle where customer has to get only one bill. He has to pay only one bill. Omni-channel experience is provided, and as of now, 50 million plus high-value homes are covered with that kind of bundling challenge. And on the digital asset side, in the lifestyle, entertainment, and digital marketplace, we have our super app, which is called Airtel Thanks, and which has about 102 million plus monthly average users. And we have a music app called Wink, which has 71 million plus monthly average users. And if I add some more digital assets, then we have in total around 184 million plus monthly average users. Then there are other digital assets called Airtel Walk, which is improving productivity of frontline sales and installation people. Airtel Payment Bank is having, as of now, 122 million plus customers and 1 billion plus transactions per quarter, which is also running in the highest range. So, and on the B2B side, we have really core connectivity market share of 32%, which is again lifetime high, and which makes it number one in India. On the IoT side, we have 46.2% of India IoT share with 4,500 plus customers and 11 billion devices. And we also have a platform which is CPaaS, or Communication Pass, product called Airtel IQ, where we are running 130 billion transactions and 300 plus customers. And also we have a cloud business, and we are operating with hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, edge cloud strategies. And this is something we have created a very unique proposition for our solution deployments as well as for our customers. We also operate in data center business under the name brand called Nextra, and also in security, Airtel Secure, and another digital asset for our business customers, which is called Airtel Thanks for Business, where 100K plus monthly active customers are there. So the idea of telling all this is appreciate what kind of scale we are talking about. And if we see the portfolio diversification, which is shown in this chart, where from the total share of non-mobile applications or non-mobile portfolio items has grown from 21% to 28% in from FY15 to financial year 22. And the ARPU, which is average revenue per user, also has risen 40% across the years and quarters. So now another point here is that if we see the top brands in India, Airtel is number one brand, as shown in this chart of top 50 brands, and we have always won the trust of our customers. Now that was the background, especially to show this puts what kind of challenges for us. Now, if I talk about the key challenges of a large telco like Airtel, and we really face it day in and day out, the key aspects are velocity, quality, agility, scale in performance, real time, rugged, and reliable. So this is something which is very key to generate the world-class customer experience and with great performing network and applications. And all of this definitely puts a large architectural challenges in front of us. And on top of it, if I talk about 5G, which is around the corner now, it there are fresh challenges, and that is these challenges are only going to compound. Uh, 5G primarily gives three aspects, which is EMBB, URLLC, or MMTC. So this is enhanced mobile broadband, which is providing us really very high peak data rate per sector. The user experience data rate is also now talking about 100 Mbps from 10 Mbps, spectrum efficiency 3 times. And from the ultra reliable low latency connectivity, we are talking about now the latencies of 1 millisecond, and also the mobility speeds of 500 kilometer per hour. On the massive machine type communication, which is the massive IoT, we are now talking about really huge network efficient energy efficiency and connection density of almost 10 times than 4G. So what all it brings, it means architecturally more volume, more devices, less latency, huge number of real-time applications, more events, and higher performance expectation. So our challenges only get compounded as we launch 5G in that kind of scale. So if we translate it into the architectural impact, then what happens? These are some of the key challenges we face. Although we face them day in, day out, but 5G introduction is going to bring even steeper challenges, where we have to now talk about more and more distributed architecture, because the scale and the volume is going to be very high. The monoliths are not going to work. The distributed architecture is going to be the key. And once we distribute this architecture, it has to bring more and more self-serve and autonomy, where each component of the distributed architecture is can operate on its own and can be plugged in without much interjection at the other components. So it's an integration pattern, which is plug and play kind of integration pattern. And now the deployment architecture has to be aligned with the hybrid and multi-cloud based architecture, not just private cloud or not just one hyperscaler, but it is really going to be partnering with a lot of cloud providers. The real-time analytics, again, is going to be a key for future, where the lot of streaming of analytics has to be done. A lot of events are going to be generated, and the decision for various application has to be taken in flip of millisecond. So that's the kind of analytics people are talking about. Then the integrations have to be open, standardized, but secure. That's another challenge, where we have to see what kind of security challenges are there, what kind of regulatory and compliance challenges are there. At the same time, they bring right open standards and ease of integration. So again, self-serve combined with the open integrations brings a lot of uh, you know cooperative kind of operations where partners become part of our operations. They become our partner for the offerings. They become partner, customers become our partners, and so on. So all of this requires real self-serve and seamless integration. At the same time, as typically with large telcos, Airtel it has been operating for almost more than 20 years, 26 years now. And a lot of legacy transformations keep on happening. So the challenge is that whatever architectural change we are bringing, that has to seamlessly gel with the legacy transformations. And then with the kind of applications we are talking about, the behavioral and social events or political events happening, sports event happening, entertainment event happening, there is all likelihood of a huge bursty traffic, and we have to build a lot of elasticity with auto scaling. At the same time, we also have to think about the flexible data models, where the very rigid kind of integrations are not going to work. The events will have their own data structure, and then as we process them, that code for processing those events, or the framework in which the events are going to be handled, are not to be coded again and again. So we have to operate in low code or no code scenario with flexible data models. So the key here for meeting all of these architectural impacts is the event-driven architecture, um, which is the real drive for that kind of scale and that kind of flexibility and that kind of speed and latency. Now, I'll talk about some of the event-driven architecture volumetrics at Airtel. Uh, we at Airtel generate billions and trillions of events every day across its technology landscape, and process them in real time to provide the best-in-class customer experience to our both B2C and B2B customers. So so handling and processing these kind of volumes of events every day is a challenge in itself, and we have really managed that well. We are using a lot of message brokers. We use Solace extensively, and Kafka and other messaging tools. As far as Solace is concerned, we have deployed capacities of more than 1 million message per second, and it is mainly used for inter-domain messaging. So more functional domains or applications talk to each other um, over Solace message as message broker. Solace provides rugged and reliable depth also for our large traffic. We have provided a huge spool capacity. So with this kind of large operations, even some glitch somewhere is going to cause huge spooling of such events, and we have provided adequate capacity using Solace for that. We have also deployed Kafka and other messaging tool capacities for intra-domain messaging, where our developers get a complete free hand in creating microservices-based architecture and use Kafka and other options there. Now, how do we use it? For what we use it? So there are multiple use cases we deploy. The event updates to the data lake As I was telling, that there are really billions and trillions of events happening per day across our IT stack or our network stack, and all of them have to be updated to the data lake. And Solace is a great tool for doing that. We are using this kind of architecture. Similarly, customer event, lifecycle events update to customer 360. Again, this is event based. Network alarm event processing is again using Solace here. And the B2B digital integration, the payment and billing event processing, along with Dunning, ordering event processing, service request related event processing. So you would see in all the areas of fulfillment, assurance, and billing, as well as the network alarms, and also the customer events, lifecycle events. All of them are being processed in really real time, and are we are able to really address that kind of scale. Now I'll talk about some key challenges, where these are the architectural challenges. We are addressing all of them with certain recommendations. Of course, it's not easy to implement these kind of changes with huge legacy. So here, one of the key challenges, a multi-location hybrid cloud, multi-cloud event management with uneven latencies and network fluctuations. So I still remember some of the applications used to behave, really erroneously whenever there used to be a network fluctuation across our two locations. And this was a challenge in a running operation when we have, huge events like IPL or other such events going on, and that has huge impact. So we have to think about an architecture, create something like an event mesh where these kind of uh, uneven latencies or fluctuations are absorbed in the architecture itself, and the developer is really excused of thinking such complexities of the infrastructure. And so that is one key architectural care we have to take in such kind of mission critical operations. Another thing is the single management point for all event configurations, because as we really scale up, as we expand our event-driven architecture, the management becomes an issue. We can't really deploy humans which are error-prone for large ops and large management. So we also need to correspondingly talk about a single management point where the right monitoring and right management can be done. Then again, it's the third bullet is talking about avoid pitfalls of distributed monoliths of end-to-end REST-based microservices. Now, as we are also doing our application modernization efforts in terms of containerizing our applications, and where a lot of teams, a lot of developers are designing their applications, and there's a general awareness that we have to break the monoliths and create the microservices-based architecture. But the pitfall or the fallout is that the developers often ignore or not realize that what they are creating is a distributed monolith where the REST-based interfaces or microservices-based interfaces are there, but it's something like in a synchronous mode. They keep on waiting till the other service does its job. So ultimately, we have broken it. We have made the application distributed, but the behavior of the application still remains a monolith. It will scale, but again, if anything goes wrong, it creates really a bad experience for the end user or the customer. So this is again, we have to be very careful of, which is further explained in the next bullet point, that for future exponentially scalable architectures, we have to bring the right balance of orchestration and choreography of microservices. Um, so in the distributed monoliths of the REST-based microservices, typically the orchestration of the services is implemented, which is an easier architecture for any developer or any team leader, uh, where they feel that they have to distribute the microservices, and the event generating or event capturing node then orchestrates the behavior which is to be implemented for that particular event or that particular API call. So ultimately, as I was explaining, this brings a lot of rigidity in the architecture. On the other hand, if we talk about the choreography of microservices, that provides an event-driven architecture where all the microservices work in tandem, and they work really independently, and that creates again an architecture which is not ETL based, rather ELT based, where every event is loaded independently, and then based on the microservice implementation, it is transformed as per the need of that particular microservice. So we need to let more and more use cases move towards choreography that allows the microservices to work in parallel and in a more autonomous self-serve kind of manner, unlike the orchestration. So we can think of an orchestra where the master actually dictates the terms, and everybody is really dependent on the master. And vis-a-vis, think of choreography where every participant or every dancer knows what it has to do, and simply they work independently, and all of that happens in tandem. There is no need of a central orchestrator. As a result, the central orchestrator does not become bottleneck. And last but not the least is something where the large telcos or large organization face challenge, is implement the event-driven architecture with the right tuning parameters suited for the particular use case, to ensure that there is a zero loss of event and all functional or technical exceptions are covered. Sometimes what happens, you put a lot of rugged devices like Solus, and where none of the event loss is possible, but maybe due to any functional reasons, some events are lost, or sometimes some events are read, acknowledged, but not processed. As a result, for an end consumer, the event is apparently lost, but from message broker perspective, it was not. So with so many years of implementations, we have come across many such loopholes in the specific implementations. And as we grow larger, bigger, with 5G and offering, such kind of challenges are very important, because that to really debug them or to correct them is really a tedious task, where you have to implement a lot of recon algorithms on daily basis, or full recon, which is practically going to be impossible in the future volumes which are going to come. So these are the key challenges I wanted to discuss in this EDA Summit, where we are taking care of a lot of them with some architectural changes. And that is what I had to talk about. And thank you